And welcome back. I don't think many people know the real story about the Ukraine. Well, during the Second World War, they were the allies of the Nazi Germans. And Stefan Bandera became a so-called national hero for this people. And until today, is considered a national hero for the nation of Ukraine. After the war, it went under the domination of the Soviet Union, and regarding the involvement of what you might call it, American intelligence funding clandestine operations in Ukraine under the Soviet Union at that time. It's only the dissolvement when Ukraine earned independence throughout the 90s. You see a strong influence of the neo-Nazi ideology. I remember about 10 years ago, the people in the Donbass and those other three republics were under continued massacres by the regime of Kiev at that time. Civilian populations and targets attacked by Kiev, funded by the West. And also there's been so many treaties of the Ukraine. Minsk Treaty, basically it was the four ethnic republics which speak Russian. They should have their independent status. Ukraine should join the EC or NATO. And as you see today, throughout the years, Ukraine was built up like a military war machine, a battering ram against Russia. As we all know, in 3 years of war, more than a million Ukrainians have died, and even Russians as well. Around about 2018-19, there was a coup. Maidan coup is called. Obviously, the Asian provocateurs were obviously paid provocators of the West. Victoria Nuland, George Soros, the Obama administration at that time, to overthrow a pro-Russian leader. Like I explained, the massacres for the last 10 years of these ethnic Russians in these four republics. Kiev never respect treaties, nor even the West. And the so-called special operations was to save this population, all these four republics which are ethnic Russians, from the slaughter of Kiev. And obviously Putin have warned the West to stop it, and therefore it's probably the motive why we got this war in Kiev. It's not because Putin woken up one day, he wanted to invade Ukraine. Mind you, Crimea was in the sights of Kiev, and what you may call it, the West, because there's a very, very important military base there, which are part of the sea regarding the Russian Navy passed by there. And as we know it, Putin had to go to help with these people at the last moment. And obviously the Russians had their drawbacks and had many conquers in this war. And obviously the project of these Westerners had failed. They used Ukrainians as cannon fodder to fight their dirty wars against Russia. And now, today, we have the von der Leyen saying Europe has to be armed. And every single country in the EU has to spend more on military spending regarding they have done before. Because they know sooner or later is a war which they can't afford to lose, politically and economically speaking. So if these warmongers of Brussels, which are non-elected officials, keep pushing for war, I think we could in the near future find ourselves in one hell of a World War III sparking off in Europe. For a country which the West does not give a shit, and as we know, the regime Kiev, they have sold out the country and the population to the big corporations of the West, mineral rights as well. The powers that be have got their hands what's left of Western Ukraine, which is absolutely very little respect to Eastern Ukraine, because there is where all the resources and minerals which really interest the West, and probably the West thinking they could destroy Russia under the Gorbachev era. It's only from Yeltsin and onwards that it came Putin had put a stop to this and start regaining control of their industry and their infrastructures trying to be exploited by the West. This is what really pissed off the West. You can say good or bad things about Putin, but he has the heart of the nation for first. It's not like these Western leaders which are all weak with no backbone, really. And looks like Europe is pushing on to create a European armada after the failure of the Ukrainian armada against Russia. This could be very fatal for Europe if they dare attack Russia themselves, because it will just lead only to World War III. Seeing Russia is a superpower, number 2 in the world, considered probably number 1 now. They have nuclear weapons, and pretty powerful ones, and hypersonic missile technology, which are fast vectors, can put any type of warhead on there. Within a few minutes or so, it arrives on destination. And for now, there is no type of missile system which can compete with that type of technology, which Russians have, Chinese, North Koreans, and even Iran have this type of technology. It's all to be played out, this international intrigue, you should call it, for the time being. But, you know, they want to prepare people for war. And we must be careful of this, because the powers that be in Europe, they will drag us into the war. They will prepare you. We have a new enemy, and we must prepare our society for war, which they're doing right now. The von der Leyen and her speech, they are already at work to prepare us for a war which, honestly speaking, European citizens don't want.